Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Bump Love. You know, Bump Love is because of you, our viewers, our fans, our supporters. Massive thank you to you for watching, for sharing this content, for liking, for commenting and giving us feedback. We really appreciate you. And of course, a big shout out to our supporters who ensure that we look bomb. Yeah, Shades of Beauty, responsible for our makeup. You can find them on Instagram. Shoe Puzzle. Yes.
The perfect shoes.
Really nice, cool shoes. Also can be found on Instagram, as well as Fashion Episode, responsible for our outfits. Yeah, lovely dresses, jumpsuits, you know, for fashionable mama.
My hair is Zuri.
Yes. Hair by Zuri. So big shout out to those of you that, you know, enable us look good even as we deliver this content. We really appreciate you. So in true Bump Love fashion, because we are so grateful that we hear from you, we have a message that prompted the conversation that we are going to have today. And I want to ask
Rosette.
Yes, Rosette, to please read the message and then we'll get into it.
Well, spoiler alert, this one is in love. But I'll go for it. Hey Bump Love, I hope you are well. I say a prayer for you regularly. Oh, thank you. This is off topic, but I would like for the Bump Love ladies to share about wedding proposals. There's a generation of ladies you are ministering to who are in their way to marriage. I've been in a steady, happy relationship for 3 years. Now, my partner and I have talked about marriage, kids, and all the necessary conversations in line. I feel that we are on the same page. However, I'm curious about how the proposal part will look like and how we'll get there. I'm a romantic and would like for the whole thing to be a surprise. I wouldn't want to make an ultimatum or start to demand for it. I'm in no hurry, but how do I ensure this happens organically but in time? I don't want to be the clown who waits for 10 years. Please share your experience in a video or advice. May my identity be kept anonymous. Otherwise, I'm very blessed by Bump Love. Thank you.
All right.
I now know the kind of wife and mother and parent that I want to be. So, ladies, over to you. What were your experiences waiting for your proposals? For those of you who were proposed to, that is, if you were proposed to. And when it finally came, what was it like? Tell us. I see you very curious.
Me?
Rachel, to tell.
So, in order for me to explain my non-conventional proposal, I need to give you a brief background to my relationship with Ben.
Okay.
So, Ben and I had this on and off thing before we got married.
Oh.
Yeah, when I say on and off, it was really like you don't know this part of
telling.
my story. Yes.
Story time.
You're here
Story time.
Right? Oh Lord. Yeah, so there was no commitment.
Okay.
In my opinion, from him, because I was waiting for commitment, but it never really happened the way I wanted it to happen. So we're on and off for some years. I think I got to a point where I released myself from the weight. Yes. When I did that at the time, there was a lot of things that were happening in his life at a personal level, very pivotal things. He got a child, and you know, as believers, that of course is frowned upon out of wedlock, and we were working in a church setting. And so when that happened, plus a whole host of other things in his life, it got him to a place where now he was thinking, okay, what do I want in life? Yeah. And I think top on that list was, who do I want to settle with? Now, we had been very good friends. We had really good chemistry. We talked a lot. We were working in the same environment. And I think I don't want to speak for him, but I remember he intimated to a friend who was living in South Africa at the time and said he thought he had found the one, referring to me. This was like in the early years of our meeting. But then there was never like a solidification of the relationship within that period of time. So when these events happened, he eventually came to himself and said, you know what, I really actually want to settle down, and I love Rachel. She's the one I want to settle down with. Now, at the time he came to me, I had made the decision to move on with my life. I'd made the decision. And no, in this on and off thing, I'd also released myself to start seeing other people. And yet we talked about the people I was seeing with him. He was that kind of friend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we are. Choka Ben indeed. So here we are at a crossroad. I've decided that I need to move on with my life, and he's decided that he wants to be with me. So when he reaches out, I'm just like, so much water under the bridge. There's so many developments in your life that I don't know if I want to take them on. But I wasn't saying no. I was saying actually no, my initial answer was no. This is not the life I want. No, I said no. And then there was also the aspect of the fact that, we'd spent so much time. There was so many opportunities for us to settle, and they never came to fruition. So I initially said no, but he kept pushing, of course, cautiously, because he knew we had wasted a lot of time. And he didn't really stand a chance. So he was, if she says yes, great. Yeah, if she doesn't, I can't blame her. So I consulted, I inquired, I prayed, I went inside myself, is this really what you want? In my initial meeting with Ben, I thought he ticked very many boxes for a potential partner. So for me, it was sort of settled. It's just that with everything that had been happening, I was like, maybe I saw wrong, So the inquiring really was, okay, with everything that has happened, am I still willing to take this step with him? So I said yes to a relationship with him. Now, when I said yes, it's almost like marriage was already the final destination for us.
Yeah.
So when I said yes to marriage as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I thought that's what he'd come back for.
No, he'd come back to say now, I have recognized that I've made mistakes in the past, and you're the person that I want to be with. Yes, to be now like official girlfriend and boyfriend. But then we were like, but we've wasted time and we know where this is ending. We've been friends for long, and so we started talking about dates for the wedding shortly after I had said yes, officially. Yeah, because and I remember we had this conversation like, so we're going to date for how long? In order for me to know that you are the one. I already know that you are the one. We've been friends for long. This situationship happened in a span of maybe 3 or 4 years. It was a good amount of time. And so we started talking about when we were going to get married. Okay, so the things happened naturally. He came home, visited my parents. I went to see his parents. I mean, I knew his parents already. I knew his friends knew me. Yeah. So I was like the unofficial girlfriend, but he had not quite said anything. Now, the proposal, the unromantic proposal.
Right.
I mean, and to this day, I'm like, yo, I'm waiting. It's been 10 years. Yeah, I want my nice romantic proposal with petals and a saxophonist in the corner.
Pink coconut on the decor.
Right? Yes. So the proposal, I mean, when we started talking about getting married, I picked out a ring. We were doing online shopping together, and I said, this is the kind of ring, this is the ring that I want. So he bought it. When he received it, I remember that day it was an evening, we were at Kati, which is where our wedding reception was, with a bunch of friends. We were talking through our really nice, colorful photo shoot that people keep commenting about, because we did photos in a taxi and at a petrol station. Yes, so a bunch of our friends talking about that, and he had received the ring earlier in the day. So he dramatically got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. But please note, we were already planning the wedding. Yeah. So that was my proposal.
I feel like that's still a lot. Normally I thought he had just come to bed one time and said, have the ring.
No.
Yeah, I feel like he did something.
No, and if I could backtrack a little bit, I remember one of his friends asking him, this is now where he's as if trying to assure me that I am the one for him, and I'm still insisting on my no. He was like, so you and Rich, so like what's happening there? And he's like, man, I have tried, I know I messed up, and I want her to say yes, but I can't blame her for saying no. He's, guy's like, can you two stop being stupid and just stop wasting our time? Tell her you love her, you love each other. Just do it. So Ben came and repeated those words. He said, Rachel, we need to stop being stupid. We love each other.
Wow.
Yeah. So can we get married? Yeah. So that was my very unconventional proposal. Yeah. I'd like to think I'm a romantic, so I kind of want or wanted the, maybe not the glam. Of course, I would want it private, not with like people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised. But with a like intention of, this is what I want.
So yeah, red rose petals at the rooftop of this very cool restaurant. Saxophonist, marry me sign. Yeah, that's a very romantic video I watched on YouTube.
I thought that's
very far
from what you got.
I had to pull your leg. How well done. Well done. That is what Bambi, for some of us who started dating when we were children, something just anyhow. That is a video that I watch and wish that it's what I got.
What you got.
Anyhow, I had a very scientific wedding to start with. Very few people. Very intimate. You know, because we had been dating for so long. He didn't have enough money at that time. It's like, okay, let's go home. We just started with a kuchala at home. I want to make this serious. And we already knew we were serious. We already knew. So those things just slide in. Until now, the unromantic people, that's how they just slide in their things. Anyway, so we went and did Coachella. We're like, no, we have to make this official. We did a very scientific wedding, very small. And that's how scientific the proposal also was. Like, there was nothing.
It was discussion of dates.
Discussion of day. Sorry?
Where were you when they gave you the ring? Was it
like, no, now the ring came in. Okay, after the Coachella, we organized, we didn't even do a Kwanjula, we did a Coachella and a scientific wedding. Because the Coachella was like big, as if huge, not too small, but like all the relatives in the village gathered and then they all, got something and stuff like that. So he just tells me, he actually brings a ring and says, just there at the comfort of our tiny sitting room where we were, by then, this is a ring I've bought you, so let's plan for this wedding. Dear. No, you can't express yourself like you're excited, like we are moving a step. Yeah, okay, we are not going to live together. But then you're like, but what is this? I was thinking he had already promised, okay, when we make money in the future, I can always, redo this. So I banked on that. I'm like, okay, let me enter with you to live with you, knowing that at least you've, officialized this. But yeah, it was not romantic at one all. Bit. Yeah.
Whoa, we did.
The baby.
I was proposed to 7 times.
by the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was proposed to 7 times. And then, like, they'd give me the ring. Then, remember, I was young. I was immature. So he proposed the first time. I said yes.
How old were you then?
Old enough for a proposal. Okay. I said yes. And then we got some Abu issues. I gave him back the ring.
Take your ring. Me have removed it.
Take it.
Typical Angie.
Yeah. Take it. Take it. Take your ring. Then I never want to see you again. You go.
Then he comes and proposes again.
A second time.
And each time it just got better and more better.
So how better was this? Like he would go over and above.
That's why when you're exactly like when you the setting you're speaking about. One time I came and Yeah, I don't know how many roses they got, but there were roses lining all the way to my office, as in the whole mall was full of flowers everywhere, which was so sweet. Then another time he proposed to me at Maction Falls, like at midnight. Then we broke up. Then another time he...
Oh, wow.
Mr.
Don't laugh. Yeah. Then another time he proposed to me in Paris. Then another time he proposed
Even after
to
Paris, you sent back the ring.
Yeah.
You did a bad manners.
Yeah.
You sent back the ring.
I gave it back. And every time I would say, I swear,
I'm
this
not
time,
coming back.
I'm not coming back ever, I promise.
Oh, wow.
I get my things. I say, let me even go back to my daddy's home. Yeah. Yeah, so man, I've been proposed to 7 times in 4 different countries.
Please don't be like Angie.
Yeah, don't be like
Do not be like Angie. I repeat. If you want to get married, do not repeat what Angie did. Because that man will walk away. He will not come back.
Yeah, I've been told,
young.
that's what all my friends would say. They're like, Angie, you're just so lucky. You do that to a man, he won't come back.
Yeah.
But I was also a good wife. He wouldn't come back if he didn't think that I was worth it. Yeah. And you know that wait they speak about, 3 weeks into meeting him, now if we're being serious, 3 weeks into meeting him, he told me, you know those things that secrets that you tell somebody that, you know, like, this is my dark side, these are my fears, this is who I am. So he says that 3 weeks into the relationship, he knew I was the one. Yeah. But they proposed to me 7 times.
But I guess he knew that you loved that. That's the romantic vibe he would bring on board. So
at that point, no. When I break up, it be serious. I swear I'm never coming back. I swear.
He knew you. He was older. You know, when there's an age difference.
Yes.
Those men kind of treat you like you're their little child. And they forgive you.
They're patient.
They're very
do.
patient with
Yes.
you. They're like, oh,
Yes.
okay, let me leave her. She'll feel better and then we'll continue.
Yes.
So
He was very, very patient for sure.
So now Angie has been proposed to 7 times. For me, I have been proposed to 3 times by different people. And seriously proposed to by different men. Yeah, but I only accepted the first one. And that's the one I got married to. Okay. But when that didn't work out, and what's really killing me is that you guys who are still in, your proposals were fake.
but we are either married. We'll speak to that later.
It was a real proposal.
That kind of petals
But
that I'm telling you about.
The one you were telling me about is the one I had.
And what's the moral of the story?
The proposal, the fanciness of the proposal does not necessarily equate to the success of the marriage.
We have consolation.
But that's not the one I want to talk about. The one I want to talk about is
The one you
the
said no
second
to.
one. Was it the second or the third? The third. It was the third. The ones I said no to. So I said no to one that was boring. I said this other one is the one that got me thinking at a certain point about how people sometimes marry strategically. So this one, there's a guy, I had known him for a while, and a while meaning that from high school. Yes, high school. So in high school, but he was a few years older. And then when we finished school, we did the same. He did my course. He did some modules of my course. So I had known him for a while, but as buddies, not even buddies. He was just that I don't want to release the person. Yeah, but he was a friend to somebody who I was very close to. So we were like friends by association. So we went we started working, and we work in the same industry. He's into finance. And we just kept on, and this is a guy who he kept mostly in my life because of work, the same industry I work again. Yeah, so he would always call for consultation. Conversations were really work related and things, and you know. Then one time, I start to realize, so in retrospect, you know, when I told this story before to a friend, and then she said, in my mind, I thought that guy had proposed to me after 3 weeks. Okay. But in retrospect, when I spoke about it to this friend of mine, she said, no, you actually were spending a lot of alone time with that guy. And this was maybe like for a year. And maybe you didn't realize, but because for me, I was not intentional. That's the time when I was still in that gap of, I'm not going to date seriously, anyone seriously, because I'm raising my child. I didn't have time for anything serious, for commitment. And this is something I'm sure I had expressed to him. I didn't even have to express it to him, because he was just there like a guy around. So I remember one time, he reached out. I said, oh, Pumla, I would like to start want to go for dinner. So we'd go out for things, you know, like a coffee after work or a lunch. And these were usually in times when my son's father had him, you know. So he was also so aware of that, you know. But you see, because my son is with me predominantly, so in those times, it was just like a phone call or a WhatsApp or a whatever. But when my son was not around, there was an intentionality in him spending time with me, you know. But for me, I just figured he liked my company, honestly. There was no spark. There was no nothing. I felt nothing. I just felt, Bambi, this guy, he's maybe he's bored. Maybe, like, doesn't he have friends? But I enjoyed I enjoyed adult company at that time, because I was predominantly with my child. So one time he calls me and says, oh, I would like to pick you up and take you for a nice dinner, you know. I said, oh, all right. He asked me, what colors do you like to wear? He came, picked me up from home. He said, don't just get ready, but I'll pick you up. So I got ready. He came. He had a dress for me. He had shoes. He had asked me those questions. What shoe size are you? What dress size do you wear? I said, hey, okay. So I was wondering, what's wrong with this guy? Picked me, gave me the clothes, sat there in my sitting room. I dressed up. I left. We left together. I was like, where are you taking me? We went out. He took me for dinner, really nice place, that one that goes around like this. What is it? Revolving restaurant. Yeah, I had only been there once and I really liked it. So now we are there in a nice, good time. Before I know it, someone has come with a saxophone.
Hello?
We're just like normal, you know? Like just normal. Someone come with a saxophone. We're there seated, he finishes, he goes. So I'm like, hey, this is really romantic, as in what's going on? For me, I'm so confused at this point. Up to now, that thing has never made. Okay, now after some time, it made some sense. When I think about it, I realize, okay, maybe I don't know.
Your brain wasn't there.
My brain was not there at all. So when this is done, saxophonist goes, he says, I'd really like to have an important conversation with you. Okay. He removes a box. He puts it in the middle of the table. And then he says, Pumla, I'm at the point of my life where I know for sure that I need to settle down. And I have identified that you will be the perfect partner to fit within the life I need for myself.
All right. Wow. All right. All right.
I said, pardon?
What you talking about?
Your heart started racing.
No, I was like,
what's going on?
What is going on?
How did we get here? What is this?
And
let me tell you, even him, I wasn't feeling any like that love or anything.
Yeah.
No, it was not like nothing. So then he says, opening words, you know what, Pumla? I have realized that I need to have all my children by the time I'm 40.
Look at him chasing you
away. This is the proposal.
Uh-huh.
And I have realized that even you, sometimes I've heard you say you don't want children, but I think at least we can have one together.
Before I'm 40.
Before I'm 40, I can give you a
compromise.
Yeah, he said that I would ordinarily want to have 3 children. But Tasha can be my son, and we can have one together, and 2 is enough. Yeah?
Yeah.
Number 3, the type of woman I want in my life, I need for her to be independent. I need for her to be busy.
All right.
I want her to understand that I'm at a point in my life where I'm very busy here. I may not have time to give into the relationship.
I was starting to feel sorry for him.
That is the proposal.
The proposal.
You said that
I need
at the proposal.
The second you opened his
I need you to understand that for a period of at least 6 years, I'm going to be working for us.
All right.
Okay.
Put out the proposal.
Then he added, I know where you work. So where he works, they have really good facilities, credit facilities, where you can borrow money at very cheap rates and a lot of it.
Okay.
So he brought that. Imagine, we combine those facilities, because even where I work, I have access to really big facilities at cheap costs. So he says, imagine we pull that money together and invest it. Because that's all we talk about, investments, finances, this, he gives me advice, financial advice, I give him financial advice. Like that's how we've bounced off each other. So he says, imagine we bring that together, what an empire.
Oh, wow. He had already thought his things through.
This is another catch. So where we both work, there's a point beyond which it's difficult to move if you're not married. That was the punch.
I've heard of those ones.
And it's both in my workplace and his. It's the industry, really. It's gotten much better. And I'll tell you one thing. There's a period when I used to go for interviews and put back my wedding band. Yeah, I'd have to. So he says, now, in that 6-year career fast track I am attaining for, I need to be married. And even you, let's be honest, even you where you're going, you need to be married. But they do it mostly for men. You see, men who are not married for a certain age, they assume they lead some kind of lifestyle where they are of irresponsibility. But women, even at a younger ages, even when you're not married, you can still balance, cautious, more risk averse, more what. So for him, he said, but even you, I know there's going to be a point you reach, and you'll need to be a married woman for you to compete.
Business arrangement.
It was literally a business proposal.
Right?
Wow. He said, this is the ring. He said, this is the ring. He said, you know, marriages of those days, they were contractual. This is how they worked. What? There was no real love. The love can grow. And then he said, he said, the love can grow, but in the event that it does not, we can agree a certain point in time where we can pour this.
But I feel like you would enjoy that setting. If you have a bit of a feeling.
Well, I was also going to say the same thing, that I think he sat and said, how do I get this girl?
Anyway,
let me use
continue.
this angle, but carry on. Fumita.
Now, when he said the ring is here. So I want you to see this as a logical decision that you make, because at the end of the day, what is marriage? You know, we are building something together. So that is my proposal to you. I'll give you time to think about it.
No, you don't have to give me an answer now.
Yeah, you don't have to give me an answer now. Okay. Because remember, we're in a business arrangement. I give you a contract and you sign immediately.
No, you have to go and read it.
You have to go and read it and think about it. So he asked me, do I have a deadline for this? I said, preferably in the next...
Do I have a deadline?
Because the way he was talking, I felt that he had a date that he needed
to be answered.
And it seemed like a short time. So I said, you know what, I can give you some time, but preferably as soon as possible so we can start the planning. I said, okay, I'll take some time. I went back. I was so perplexed by what had happened. Of course, it changed the relationship forever. Now, for me, of course, my antenna went up. I was like, a man who comes and tells me that I'm ideal for him because of the benefits I can accord to him. I mean, whenever a man mentions financial, my red flag goes up immediately. But eventually I came to him and I told him the truth is, the one part I cannot pull off with you is the child part. He said, the rest I really was thinking about. But I cannot move forward with you because I'm not having any more children. And there's no one for whom I can. I did actually.
Oh, wow. I feel like that's a proposal that would entice her. Without children.
Also, we were allowed to stay to keep separate homes. But he said his home, he had a house. His house would be our house. But I was allowed to keep my house.
Okay.
And he said, no, I think he had thought through it. But you see, that's the part that scared me the most. That he had taken time. Isn't that a serial killer? A sociopath? He was so thorough.
But he's a finance person. They think through everything.
I felt that it was a way to lure me in, and then terms and conditions might change as we go along.
Anyway, you speaking, I knew that the one red flag was the child thing. The rest is
but
something
that would...
you did that enticed you that.
I took it back to him. But you see, guess what? After a while, he's now married. He's now married, and he's married to a girl like me. The difference is that, actually not like me, the girl was born into money. And she's independent. She has a big family that she always spends time with.
Yes.
So I could see him giving, I knew
her
her.
independence.
I could see him giving a similar speech to that girl, and she says yes.
she says yes.
And indeed, he's 42 now, and he did have his, they had 2 children together.
Before
Before he was 40.
He's a strategic man.
Yeah, he was so strategic. But up to now, that proposal, I'm like, wow.
You're like, what?
Wow.
For
This
me,
guy
I've
thought
left
through
that
his
table. I'm like,
I would
everything
also
is
have left.
I'm like,
Yeah,
so where
he
do I
was just
fit
saying,
in?
no, it was his plan. That was his.
Yeah,
Now,
his plan. Now,
I just need to take you from where you are and plug you into my
plan.
plan. Yeah. I said no.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
Max for effort though on the romantic beat. Because that conversation could have happened at a coffee or a lunch.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
but
He didn't have to buy you a dress or.
it's good that
I
he
kept
has a
that
happy
dress.
ending anyway.
Yeah.
So, ladies, I think our anonymous DMR seems to be also pointing us to another question about why men don't commit, or why they take long or seemingly delay with the commitment conversation. Why do we think that men take long with commitment or delay with the proposal?
Many times they are not sure yet. They take longer to mature men. Naturally, I think it's innate that they take longer than the women to focus, especially when it comes to marriage. For the girls at a certain age, after campus, you're already thinking of marriage. A man is thinking, okay, let me set business, let me do this, I have to organize myself. Others are thinking as beyond as I need to build a house first and then settle. So as we are already thinking of marriage, because that's where, you know, our thoughts are, like, yes, you could get a job, but then, you know, it has to work predominantly together, like it has to be in sync. So many times it's that the guys are not yet in that space as the ladies. That's what I think of first. But also because you, the woman, is also not settled yet. He's thinking, how do I settle with this girl who I see a zillion different men calling every day? Like, he might love you, but because you're also still in that space, you're a young girl, you're beautiful, many other men are seeing you, and it's like, hey, am I making the right decision, really committing to this girl? So there's a bit of time that is needed, you know, for you to commit or for you to court and get to know each other a little more. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, those are the first 2 that come to thought for me.
I would go with the fact that we look at things differently. Where a woman sees trees, a man sees a forest. So even when it comes to commitment, where you see that, yes, I think it's about time, this tree has fully grown, he's still not seeing the forest that he wants to see. So you find yourself at different points in your life, as you mentioned. But the second reason I believe why a man may not commit is, I think men, at the end of the day, we are animals. Male animals tend to mark their territory. So if he's not committing, he doesn't think you are his territory. And when you don't mark your territory, you're basically saying, let the other dog or lion or whatever pass by. I don't feel that
I won't be bothered.
I will lose, I think, for me. But that is basically it. That's basically it for me, yeah.
Yeah, but and maybe just to speak to marking of territory, like there's people I've met where for them they don't see any real difference between long-term commitment and marriage. The primary legality is marriage, you know, like the primary difference story of the legality is in the wedding certificate. But there's people who honestly don't see anything about it, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be less dedicated to you or less willing to put in the work or less willing to put in the effort to make the relationship work. There's just certain people who don't deem marriage as important. For them, I'm going to be the exact same person to you, even if we are in a long-term commitment that's not been bounded by the law.
By the law,
yes.
True.
But what my issue is with that is that more often than not, it's the man who is okay with a long-term commitment, but the woman wants the marriage. Yes. So where those cases are concerned, I've always felt you have to have the conversation and you have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Let that one of long-term commitment find his friend of long-term commitment.
Yeah.
Not being there long-term and then trying to convince your friend who wants marriage that long-term commitment also works. You know? So for me, that's where I've had that issue. So it might not be so much about using marriage to mark territory, but also some people just don't believe in marriage. But you both have to be on the same page. Because I've had many women who end up regretting years later, thinking one day he'll change his mind, and they never do. But what I just wanted to speak to, and maybe to Anonymous, is that apart someone who takes their time to propose to you or who doesn't commit to you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with themselves. It can be a whole range of things. Maybe he just prefers his independence. Maybe he doesn't want to live life on somebody else's terms or in consultation with somebody else. He just prefers his freedom. And he feels that maybe marriage will squeeze him in a box, not you. It's marriage. Maybe some men like finances. Some men attach so much importance to where they are in their lives, and they've always said, me, I can't get married until I have a house. Or I can't get married until I have enough money to do A, B, C, D, E. Or I can't get married because I don't want anyone to contribute to my wedding. I want to finance it by myself. You know, there are men who speak like that. So some of them are just targeting a certain goal, and then when they achieve that goal, then they will marry you. The problem with that is that those goals keep shifting. It might be trauma. There are people who have been raised in homes where maybe divorce has happened, they're children of divorce, and even if they are not, they're children who were brought up in unhealthy situations that they saw with their parents. So there may be some trauma there, or even experiences. I might have been married before, and I don't want to go back.
Oh, you see people
because now I'm the divorcee. Now I'm here with the young Rosette. I'm not committing to her because for me I had my bad experience, and now I'm here trying to convince you that, you know what, we don't have to be married to be happy. Let's just be here. Let's just chill. So there are so many reasons. Sometimes he might not be into you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Sometimes it is not you. Sometimes it's just passing time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just a bridge to where he wants to go, a rite of passage. Sometimes it just might not be the right time for him. Again, this has mostly everything to do with him and not you. And the reasons are so many.
As many as there are people. And yet it's very difficult not to take it personally.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember actually dating a guy who I thought I was going to get married to, and when all was said and done, the impression I got from words and blah, blah, blah was it felt too early for him to commit, because you never know. You just never know that I might meet someone else that maybe might hit other boxes or might be maybe more in my league. Yeah, so it was a thing of there are other people. You might use this time to explore. Yeah, use this time to explore. It's too early for you to settle, you know, and we were at uni at the time. And I remember it broke my heart, but I kind of understand. And you know, with what Pumla is saying, that many times it has nothing to do with you. And even if he's not into you, again, that's him, his tastes and preferences, and just think of it as God saving you from whatever could be. You know, you might force the marriage to happen, and then you get in there and he was never really into you, and now he has to tolerate you. But the one reason I know that, and I think this is a really good question to ask the guys when we do have our Ask the Guys segment, why they take long to commit. But one of the reasons I know is fear. Mostly from what you've explained, fear of the unknown, fear of responsibility, because now when you have a woman, you have to take care of her, you have to take care of, you know, like her extended family, at least be seen to be responsible in that regard, take care of children. You're afraid that you're going to lose your independence, lose your freedom, you know, have somebody constantly keeping tabs on you, be accountable to someone. And so I think that's one of the reasons that men take long to commit, and also coupled with the fact that, am I sure? Maybe I can do better. Yeah, let me use this time to explore. Have I finished exploring? And I find that sometimes men need that freedom to explore before they settle, because if that car fire stays in them, it might explode at some point.
At some point, yeah.
But do you, okay, my question would now be, how long is too long to wait for a man?
How long is too long?
How long is too long?
How long is too long? My how long is too long would be answered by me. If I want to get married right now, I would really assess myself and find out, okay, yes, maybe I know I want to get married, but the real question is, why do you want to do it right now? So then I would assess the reasons why, each of them, and then find out what of those reasons can be postponed. And if so, for how long? That for me is what would guide me. For example, you might come from a belief system where you cannot get pregnant or have sex before you get married.
Oh, yeah.
So now are you going to wait for 5 years? But now imagine, let's talk about the sex part. Now me, I'm ready for sex. Are you going to wait for 5 years with this person?
No.
Let's talk about children. The weight of a 21-year-old who wants to have children is a different weight from the 38-year-old who wants to have children.
Oh my
Let's not
goodness.
even pretend about it.
Oh, wow.
So the
That's a
person who
good
says,
way
I
to
want to
look
get
at
married
it.
at 21 and says, I want to have children, can decide to wait for 10 years.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But not the person who is waiting at 38. It's not going to happen. So
That's
you
a
as an
good-
individual, you need to say, why do I want, okay, you need to understand, to agree, acknowledge, I want to get married and I want to get married to this man. But why right now? Once you have those reasons down, then the reason that can be postponed the farthest, healthily, and when you're happy, because you can agree, because even if you might want to get married right now and he doesn't want, but you can continue working towards that, you can still work harmoniously together without breaking up just because he doesn't want to get married to you right now. But where I feel that you should understand that the inner part that guides you when this long is getting too long is if in that growth together, while you're not married, you need to be working on each other and feeling that we are moving together, that gap is reducing. Because remember, for you're already ready. So you have to have that feeling that somehow I'm learning we are going towards it. We are going towards it. If you ever feel in your relationship that gap is instead maybe now widening, or the gap is being maintained, that's the end. I would implore you to get out.
And I think communication is very key here, because many times you're here waiting, you've given yourself a time frame, but he has no clue. Like you're just expecting him to be an angel to, realize that, yes, I have been dating you for a year. You should be knowing by now. You even go to your friends as, Pumla, I have been seeing him. Can't he just pop this question? Like, honestly, he has no clue. For him, 5 years.
5-year
is what
plan.
his target is, and you guys are not having a conversation. So I'll speak into the anonymous question of how long should be long, or, waiting. Please talk to your man, because there's a part where you said, I want to wait, but not too long. Is he in the know? Please tell him. I have a friend, by the way. I'll tell you about her. She has dated all these men. No, she actually dated all these men. But for her criteria is, I'm not dating you for long. You need to know that I am ready to settle. I'm not wasting no time. So she had to drop all the 3 relationships until she met the 4th, where they were aligned of I'm not wasting time. The truth is, because she was growing old, just like Pumla said, 30, the weight of a 30-year-old is different from a 20-year-old. 20-year-old will wait saying, Kawa, you've given me space. Let me also enjoy. I like this man, but how did you know I needed this space? And then here you are, now you're 30, most of your friends are getting married, they're having children. You're there. Your man is telling you to wait for another 5 years. So she dated, dumped these guys until she met the man who they were at par of, I'm not dating you for long, by the way. If you don't find me wife material, it's okay. So in fact, they dated for, I think, about 3 months and then organized and they got married. I also wanted to bring us to speed about these stories we hear about marriages. You know how you meet someone and they tell you, you know what, we met at a nightclub And 2 months later, we got married, and they are in a serious marriage. You get? They didn't even court for long. And then there's this one who will tell you, man. So I don't think there's a right time, but it's for you to give yourself that time frame of, for me, what's my time? Yeah? Is 30, if it's past 30, man, I'm not playing. Because I need to have my children early. I mean, a guy can play with you, Peku, you're 40. This man, if you give him that, if you don't build that boundary, yeah, he should know.
What are you doing as they are playing with you? And you're also playing
You are
back.
hoping.
You're just there hoping.
That if I don't play back, the proposal may not
May not happen. That is there telling you, I'll marry you. Me, I told you I'll marry you. So you're there praying, shekete lebo shakate. Oh Lord, the man has to marry me. Is he? Are you talking about it? Like, let's have this conversations. He needs to know where your thought, where your brain is at ease, what you're thinking as well.
I like the fact that they have been having conversations.
Oh yeah,
You
she
know,
said that they were
they've been
having
conversations. I am also of the belief system that if we're having conversations, 1 year. I know there are no timelines.
No, I agree.
But 1 year, we've had conversations. We are making love. In that 1 year, you've seen me use the toilet. In that 1 year, you've seen me in my chips. In that 1 year,
Yes.
really,
What are we still talking?
what are we still talking about? And by the time you are asking or thinking, usually it means you also feel that something should be happening. So in my case, I'm thinking if you are really intentional about it, 1 year.
Okay.
Because marriage, no one is saying we're walking down the aisle the second the proposal is made. But in 1 year, you should know me well enough to know whether you want me, put a ring on it, mark the territory, and let the territory start.
I hear you.
Yeah, I
I
agree. I think 1 year is a safe bet. Like you've pointed out, you are able to see this person in different scenarios. I think I just want to paint a picture for us. First of all, women in their early 20s are mostly not really ready to settle. We're having a good time, right? And like the guy I was talking about, we think we have time to explore. So there's a category of women who will push away potential men in their early 20s, in their 20s into 30s.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not ready, you know, like these are really good men, they want to settle, but it's like, I'm not ready. Then
Something
panic
better.
sets in, yes, at like 35.
Yeah, you've chased away all the
You've
good
chased
men.
away the men.
It
And that is for
happens that
35.
way.
They've married other people, you're seeing your friends now, even the ones you were chasing with, they're also getting married.
Yes.
Now you meet a man, and I feel like what usually happens with women at this point is we start playing it safe. We're like, oh, I don't want to chase this man away. So even the conversations you should be having with him, where it's like, okay, are you ready to commit? If you're not ready, maybe let me bounce and wait for another guy, even though it will take you another 2 years to get another guy. You're like, if I say no, this man is going to walk away. And I have to start over again. So I find that there are women who are in a dilemma like that, but I also feel like there are not very many women who have the courage to speak up and talk about the marriage conversation. I think it's partly culture, the way we've been raised. We don't pursue men, but also there's a real fear that if I say something about marriage, I'm going to scare this man away. And if I scare him, I'm going to scare him into the arms of another woman. Yeah.
Because
So
the arms of the other women are also there.
they are waiting. They are waiting, waiting for this man who has been wounded. And she's going to encourage him and say, bus, and they will move on and you'll be left, So I feel like, while that is, I feel like you still need to have the conversation. There's no shortcut. You need to state what your desires and dreams are. A good way to figure out if you should spend any time waiting is if your values are aligned. He may not be ready to marry you, although the conversation has happened that, look, you are the one for me, I eventually at some point, but maybe not now. And I feel like there should be some timelines. There should be a time frame That in a few years, and maybe I want, and like you said, yes, the goalposts keep shifting, but there's an understanding that we are in this together. That gap keeps reducing, yeah? So please have the conversation. I know it sounds cliche, and many women are afraid to do so, but you need to be able to say, this is what I want, and this is where I want us to go. And if you're not ready, I would rather we don't waste each other's time.
Another one that would help you if you don't want to have a conversation is you can, talk to a relative of theirs, a close brother, let him, convey the message
into the territory
for you.
of coercion when we start doing things
When
like
you start
that.
doing things like that. Because the truth is, the relationship is for two
Between the
people.
two of you, eh?
And I'll say these to ladies out there, maybe because I started this journey earlier, so I was able to watch my friends. And men are allergic to that
Being boxed and coerced.
And the
they
second
feel like it's a
you
coercion.
become clingy. By the way, even when you're not saying it, he can smell it off you.
Yeah.
You know, that desperation. So why don't you do this? Tell him.
Yeah.
If he goes, thank heaven,
Thank
maybe
heaven,
by
yes.
December you'll have gotten a new one. But you're holding on, then by January he's left you, all the Basamas have gone back.
No, but I think the summers have gone back. I think where Rosette is coming from that I would support is on the fact that let's all be, for me, I might be that type of person who's assertive, I can have conversations.
Yeah.
But let's also look at those people who, maybe because of culture and society, or just personality, they are afraid to have that conversation because they fear that he may see it as coercion or as being pushed. So you can go through a friend to find out his thought process, not to go and tell him, not to go and tell him to propose, no, to go and find out from him what does he think, like the way your Ben talked to this guy went and talked to Ben and said, now you guys stop being stupid, you go and whatever.
Do your
so you
thing.
can just find out where is he at, what is his thought process. Then now you can use that information to now maybe
to still once again
have a conversation.
You still have to have that conversation. You get was talking about the young girls who are chasing away potential husbands. I was reminded of the video we saw a while ago that was training about, I think there were like 3 girls who they put, the way they pray while they are 20, they'll just say, then 25, it continues. Then when they are 30, midnight, they are rolling on the floor. We want a husband.
in tongues even, praying with their Bible. Yes, I saw that one. It was so funny. But now, a modern woman can come out and advise anonymous and say, but times have changed. You can't be the one to propose. You want. So, can we share? I'm sure we've had maybe more in the Western and developed world where women actually propose to their partners. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not.
It's a no.
Yeah, it's a no from me.
Really?
I am all for begin the conversation and to find out where he's at, whether you're going through a friend, a relative, a third party, but for you to propose marriage, me as me, no,
It's not working.
it's not working because I feel like it changes the dynamic of your relationship. Yes, even moving forward, and I don't know. There's a safety in knowing that your man pursued you or that your man started that conversation. Yeah, I just know it's a no for me.
It's a no, okay.
It's a yes
one no.
for me.
Yeah.
One
It's a yes.
It's a yes.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
Right. We are moving. We are counting votes.
It's a yes for me. When I was younger, I'd be like, sure, how? Let the man do it. Now I'm older. I truly believe that every day of your life should be lived to its full potential.
Okay.
If roles have been changed, when I started learning how to drive, guys would be like, hey, how can a woman, you understand me? I'd be there with my shift gear and everything.
Yes.
When I was younger, it was always assumed that the husband was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
It was, so many things have changed. So if you find yourself this nice man. And he's ticking all the boxes. And you can see he's also ticking all the boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2023.
Kneel down and propose to a man.
You might not kneel down. Do you understand? You will find your ways of doing it, because if men are kneeling down, you could decide to sit on his lap and tell him, baby, by the way, this is happening. Because these are the reasons why some of us live in our homes and we still wait for the man to start the sexing.
Okay.
Take the first step.
Okay.
Our mothers, you wait, or you can't even suggest. Now, you suggest, I would like to make love today.
Okay.
You will suggest, I would like to be your wife, boss. Let's move on.
So why aren't we having this conversation for him to propose instead of you proposing? Like that's
where we started. We said, get him to propose. And the truth is, when you think about it, you see all these people who are proposing, you think that the idea started with a man? Women have a way of making men do things without actually vocalizing them. But if he reaches that point, or if you feel real, me, the truth is, today, just that man, me, I'm too old, I would propose.
But don't you feel that can only happen in a scenario where you actually had the conversations and now you know you're both on the same page? Or would you just randomly?
No. Randomly. Because think about it, even men don't randomly propose.
They do.
Guess what? In his mind, it actually feels like in Pumla's case, it was a year of watching her schedule and seeing when Teja goes out, meaning I'm intentional.
Of men being left in
The ones who are rejected. They are also rejected. The only thing about women proposing, where I would say that be cautious, is that by then men are used to rejection.
Women, on the other hand,
are not. But saying that I will not try something because I think I might get rejected, if we've had these conversations, the truth is, if you're sure this man loves you, go ahead, do it. Do it,
if you're
baby.
not sure, you're the one who loves you.
If you're not sure, sit at your home and wait until you are sure.
Okay, this is how I look at this scenario. Okay, so we have a no, a yes. We have not yet had your version, but me, I'm really on the fence about this. Me, there are certain things that most people look at as gender roles, for example, proposing, but means my guidance of roles comes from one thing usually. There are certain things I have decided that should be done ideally by the person in the house who, when you're sleeping in the bed, two of you, when you hear noises at night,
he's the one.
He's the one who has to wake up and go.
Yes,
that's how I live my life. In most things, when I'm deciding what am I okay doing, who should do what. This one for proposing, I always feel that it should be the person better equipped to get out with a torch and a broom to see what is making noises outside.
Until we are now getting out with the torch and broom.
And you see, because there are some women who can do that.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So I feel like if you're the kind of woman who can do that, who can plug into that masculine role, you're that, or it's okay for you to propose.
Pumla, we see you as that masculine.
Let me know, because I have learned over time when to lean into my femininity and when to plug and when to accept my masculinity. I have quite a more on average masculine traits than the average woman I have found. So but I get some burnout. I do get burnout, and there are times I have leaned into my femininity and I'm like, oh, that's so relaxing, that's so nice. So I stay there. I find that proposal thing to be a masculine trait. And by the way, just piece of education, when someone says masculine, it doesn't mean male. Masculine is not male, it is male that is masculine. When someone is talking about masculine traits and feminine traits, it doesn't mean that people of masculine traits, it's only men who have them. No. And it doesn't mean that because of feminine traits, it's only women who have them. No. What we need, we all have masculine and feminine. It's just that more women are built with more feminine traits and more men are built with more masculine traits. So where you feel comfortable, actually it's more about finding a balance. But there'll be times when you're more comfortable in your feminine and there'll be times when you're more comfortable in your masculine. So you are right, I have those masculine traits. But for this one in particular of proposing,
like, no,
I am not ready for it. I prefer to be feminine. Me, by the way, when I look at marriage as my partner being, I want us to be two captains of the ship. But I want my man to be the first captain. I'm taking it. And that whole thing of there has to be a leader in the home. We may be leaders.
Repeat that.
There must be a leader in the home.
Okay.
That's what
We
they
might
call
be,
that.
I might be a leader as me, and then you might also be a leader as you. But there's going to be points when both of us need guidance, and we need someone who is leading, and I don't want to do that role.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it, so I feel if you are comfortable taking it, you propose, because I don't understand how you can be the captain of a ship for a journey that you did not initiate.
That means she's feminine. She
I
just
don't
be
understand
scaring
it.
us.
What do you mean for a journey
don't
that you did
get
not
it.
initiate?
Because I need
The
that
marriage
person to be the real leader, the leader of our leader.
And you know, sometimes also the chick is one who has cornered the guy to start off
That's
with.
what I mean.
Start off
So
with.
if you're
That's
happy
it.
plugging
If
into that
Then you
space,
will wake up in the
then
middle of
it's
the night
okay.
with the broom.
Then it is okay. You
And
do
you
your
tell
turn.
about-
For me, my man, I want him. What is that song? He has to be the conqueror, the champion,
champion,
the
the
lion. The
lion.
lion is here. Maybe that is how it needs to be for me at my home. But for you in your scenario as a couple, if you're the one walking out with the torch and the broom, you propose.
And
For
you know
me, a
what? You know
proposal-
what? She talked about burnout. Yes, you can go ahead and propose, but there's a reason why that role falls mostly on the man. I think that his makeup can take it and can take the pressure that comes with if she has rejected me, if she has said I need time, if she has embarrassed me, or even in the roles that precede. There's the word precede or precede? Precede that. Rather, the roles that come after. The stuff you were talking about, being able to lead in the house. I remember actually I received a DM from one of our bump lovers actually, and she was saying, her man, Tavayo, like he's not taking the lead on certain things. And I feel like you risk having a man like that if you're the one who pushes.
If you're the one
for
proposing,
the proposing,
and pushing.
and then you'll get there, and most women would like the man to lead. We may
Yes.
not be open and honest about it, but the truth is, in your home,
Yeah.
you want to be as feminine as possible, and have
possible.
someone else take the responsibility
And
for
you
your
do know
family.
that, Rachel, that most times women are actually leading, but the way we lead
is
is
different.
Yes,
It's
The way
different.
even those, that's why I said, even those proposals, those men who are on knees, you'll find that before he got there, the woman was the one
nudged.
leading.
Absolutely.
Where I'm coming from, that's why I said, for me, it's a personal thing, and at my age, is I look back and I see opportunities I didn't take because I was either too timid or what will people think. Today, I grab life and everything that comes with it by its balls and I run.
But you
So,
see, it is easy for you to speak like that because you built those muscles over time. A 20-year-old, if to live and great life by the balls, she's not yet been developed enough.
And I'll
You
also
have to
tell
have
you
gone
this,
through the
Pumla,
journey.
I
You
have
to gone
met
through the journey.
30-year-olds, 33-year-olds who are already,
They are the exception.
really?
Yes.
They are the exception to the rule. But if
I'm
you're
just
speaking
in the
to
right
the
place
rule,
at
You are in the right
you're in
place
the-
at the
You're
right
in
time.
the right
at
place.
the right time.
Because
But
this I
for me,
cannot
honestly,
propose,
I
but
don't know
you-
if for me it even has anything to do with space. Is a no. Proposal coming from me,
Yeah.
Not happening.
Rosette,
No
I
way.
pursue a man. It's not happening. You know those videos that they tell you propose to a man or go collect water from Lake Victoria and finish it around with my
Overcount rice. One.
You wouldn't, but would you encourage someone else to go do it?
I actually
Yeah,
would.
you
I
would.
would.
Me, I wouldn't.
I
That's what
wouldn't.
the question
I
is,
wouldn't
would
because
you?
I know,
would.
especially if I know that person. You know how Pumla normally comes off as more masculine? She loves her femininity. We are built to be feminine. Yeah? We are built to be pursued. Scripture says, he who finds a wife, not a woman who finds a man. It meant that a woman should be sought. A woman should be found by a man. Then the man will be responsible. He will take his role as a leader. Because now, you better sort them. And I know it's easy to think about it as a woman, especially if you don't have a man, because you're a leader at your workplace, you're the MD, you're thinking, can't I just tell this cowboy be my husband? I mean, they're doing it. The girls at a certain age, so that's why we know those girls. She's 45. I mean, her man has passed on, or they broke up. I'll be like, she didn't even have to propose. dear, come marry me. I need you. She has her money. She's leading at all, you know, fronts. But if you're not at that age, I don't think it's very easy. It can't come. Yeah, but
like Angie said, I would encourage, but depending on the character of the person, I would encourage. Because that marriage thing, to propose. I don't know.
I would advise that you find yourself and love yourself. Don't look like, you know, he's all you need. Don't act like, you know, don't consume him. Don't over-sandwich him. Have a life. Men love women who are independent, who have their own confidence, who find their life, because they know that even when they marry you, they're not going to be there, you know, having all those expectations of making you very happy, because you already have a happy life going on. So I would advise you to keep doing you, do what you love. If he sees through that, he will be very attracted. Like even if he's to delay 5 years, he'll be like, nah, this chick, that way she's happy, they will still have from me. So be happy, it builds your confidence, have that self-love.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. That's a big one.
And please correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of women who ask this question have usually already given up wife privileges to these men.
They've been cooking.
Yes,
and
you've been
ironing
cooking, ironing, cleaning his house.
So he's like, when I marry you,
yeah,
what will you add?
no, it's not that when I marry you, what will you add? It's like there's no hurry for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no rush. I'm already getting what I could be getting.
I already have the milk.
I have the milk from the cow, yes, and I've not had to pay. Exactly, yeah.
But again, women,
So I really would say,
stop giving privileges.
Yeah, just please don't. I think relate with this man like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. From let him have his house, you have your place, and please don't give up what he should have when you are married. That I honestly feel like when you give it up, even the sex, I'm really not for sex before marriage. I come from that school of thought. But when you give up those things, then you've really slowed down the process. He's going to ask himself, there's no need for me to hurry because I'm already getting this stuff. You know, I'm getting the sex. She's taking care of me as a wife. You can do things for your man without giving so much up. And I remember one of the things that my husband appreciated about me was I was able to do things for him without giving up what he should get when we get married. And I remember one of the things that he said attracted him to me or me to him, my English eludes me today, is that I guess one of his love languages is acts of service, but like he would ask me to do stuff for him. I remember one time his sister-in-law was in the hospital and he was up country, she had a baby, and because I knew his family, he's like, can you please help me check on them and say, you know, like, and take them some, I think I took a contribution to them. So stuff like that, you can be there for your man and support him without having to be a wife before you are a wife.
So now if you were already a wife, do you withdraw?
I think you should. I am all about radical because, okay, so it's going to come off like you're withdrawing because you want a proposal.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pushing.
So after the conversation we have had, I would say that, please be honest and open and say, I think we have gone too far, so let's dial back a bit. Yeah, and if indeed it's God's will for us to be married, we will be married, and these privileges can continue.
You reminded me about the time when we were dating and he thought that I would cook for him. I said no, I actually didn't cook, so he was a bit worried. I think he thought I didn't know how to cook. So I didn't cook for him until we got married. And of course, like any man, he loves his food. But I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not giving 100% because now what will I leave for myself? There's a little mystery. Olaba, even us who are married, you leave a little mystery. After 2 months, you bring in something new.
Hello.
Like a corner. You spice it up. So I didn't give that cooking. I remember the first time I cooked like a whole buffet. He went like, yo, I actually didn't think you know how to cook. So don't overgive, Bambi. Don't give 100%.
So it really is actually okay for your timelines to be mismatched. But for as long as your goals are aligned, it's okay for us to say, okay, one day we will get married, but for me, I'm not ready right now. So that those mismatches are okay. But what I know you should not do is change yourself to fit into the profile of the person you think he needs you to marry
so that
you.
you can marry. Yes, that's
because you guys, when you enter a marriage, and this is speaking of someone when I was young. When you enter a marriage, you need to step in with your own feet. Your feet, nobody else's. Not the one that the man has told you need to be. Not the one that your mother has told you to be. Not the one that your pastor has told you. Unless of course the pastor is in line with your religious beliefs. Not the one that your friends or society or your saying say you must be. Of course there are certain things, there are foundations which are okay. But there is versions of you that you need to step into us, and that is of you, because imagine you change. Now you're in the marriage. Let's say now he proposes. Then now you're tired. There's burnout.
Yes.
There's burnout from living
real.
inauthentically.
Oh yes, of course.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Then you become bitter. You become resentful from inside there. Or then now you become yourself in the marriage. And then the man is like, then your marriage becomes sour.
He's like, I didn't know you like this.
That's not who I married. You're a different person.
You know?
And not to say that you're not allowed to evolve, but you can only evolve if you really entered as
authentically.
And then over time, maybe you evolved as different versions of yourself. Because now imagine, he still doesn't propose even after you've done all that. Now you've wasted time living inauthentically.
Imagine.
Now you're still bitter, resentful, and a third cycle.
I know.
Of telling people that
men are bad, men are dogs.
What haven't I done?
I sacrificed. You wasted my time. Someone who sued a man in this country, Uganda.
Wasting my
time wastage, millions of shillings.
That's a thing.
It's a thing. It's been done abroad, but I was so shocked when I heard about it in this country.
Oh my goodness!
That she was the one who was playing a certain character, thinking the man was, and the man dumped her.
Did she win?
Not at all. I actually don't know if they reached, but she filed.
She filed.
Yeah, I know she filed, but I don't know if they actually.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So what? I just don't change who you are. Continue living as yourself, and don't set ultimatums. Be able to have these kinds of conversations that we've talked about. With express your feelings, healthily and honestly, but don't set ultimatums, because if you set an ultimatum, imagine he proposes.
You keep wondering.
Proposes when he's not ready. You want to enter a marriage with somebody who is ready to marry you. You have to both be ready.
Even those who are ready still end up.
Or not even the ones who are ready, who think they are ready, end up in mistakes. And then again, he might still not propose even with that ultimatum, and you could miss out on he might withdraw. And you could miss out on what could potentially have been a good relationship if all he really needed was time. So Angie says this thing a lot, that the person you choose to spend your life with has the biggest impact on your life. It is. So choose not only wisely, but choose slowly.
Choose your gang.
So that when you choose the person, even if things tabuka the other side, you know what you chose, and you took the time to choose it. So let's not be in a rush.
Wisdom.
But also for the prayerful people, pray for your man. If you really want him to pop the question, you need to pray.
If you're not prayerful,
At least for that one, pray.
At least for a man that you're spending the rest of your life with. Pray. You don't want to enter into some psycho, some narcissist or
This pray of women aspiring to marriage, it just must stop. It's not an achievement. It's not, and I feel that's where that proposal issue comes from. That a woman can't propose because the achievement is in the fact that they've proposed to you. They've chosen you.
Yes.
That's thriving for marriage, guys. Let's be guided. Let's be guided.
But I want to
debatable.
define.
We shall have another conversation.
It's an achievement for some people. For them, they are home. They are the only ones
who have not been, but they are the first ones to get married.
To get married.
My friend,
can you tell me that's not an achievement? As if a degree.
It's true. Anyway, my parting advice for Anonymous would be 3 things. 1, be patient. Be patient. Girls, be patient. I already told you, men, for them, they see forest. First, we're seeing trees. Just be patient until he zeroes down. Like when your eyes go out of focus or your phone, for them, that's what they see. Until he zeroes down, just be a little bit patient. The second thing would be, it's difficult, but let it be. He knows. You've spoken about it. You've been dating. You've been making love. You've been together. Really, he knows. So take a break from the whole hoping for the proposal thing. That could actually free, first of all, your mind, your spirit. And many times men fall in love with us because we are free-spirited, we are playful, we are whatever. But when you're gunning for something, there's a way every move is calculated, you know, so it removes that sensation and the feeling that comes with it. The last one, I might get a slap for it, a child of God. Ugandans, let me first start by doing what Pumla does. Definition. People, dating isn't having sex. It's not a must that everybody you date, you sleep with. Dating is going out on dates and going out on dinners. You're able to understand each other. So if your Jama at home is taking a while, he's not marking his territory. It means you're a little bit free. So go to the movies, go for lunch, hang out. Let him also know.
She said what she said.
I'm waiting for her to finish.
I just did.
Oh, so release yourself to see other people?
And when I say see other, I don't like sleep with them, but
you go and watch the movies as well.
Because the truth is, men at the end of the day are animals. They want what people want. Maybe if he sees that other people find you attractive, he might wake up and do the deed.
Or even you might find that, hey, this is actually not who I want. There is actually better fish.
But now
you've
taken her.
You've taken her.
Okay. When people decide to get together to date,
I hear you.
If somebody has not committed to you, and by commitment I mean marriage, if that is what you're aiming for, it means you're still in the hood. Me, I come here and I tell you that I'm single. I'm dating, but I'm a single woman. As long as on that when you're applying for a visa or a passport, as long as you tick single, marital status, you're single. That person is there. But when somebody calls me and says, Pumla, I want to take you out for a coffee date or to watch a movie, I will go. The only place I will stop myself is if now I put boundaries. I'm not going to, there won't be inappropriate holding, there won't be like maybe kissing, there won't be sex, there won't be inappropriate exchange. It will be casual. But if I feel something start to grow and I'm like, hey, there might be something here. Hey, the other part, I just cut it off and we'll see what is going on this side. Yes, it is like they're protecting you from the shelf. When you're in a relationship, that means that they picked you from the shelf of the supermarket and taken you to the till.
Yes.
But they've not yet paid for you.
You're not just off
you
the
can
shelf.
Go back to the shelf. Yes. You can live between the shelf and the distance from the aisle where they've picked you to the till. Anything can happen.
Pumla, you've reminded me of where you rich guy. You don't have enough money. Let me get back your goods.
And even get the money to pay for you. And it's not enough. Then they said, Jamu Kari, Jamu Nakari.
Take them back.
That is you. That is you. You're the one they can say.
So off the shelf, Tamara. You have to be paid off the till.
You have to be bought off the
Take
shelf.
home. Because off the counter, you can be there in the customer and rob.
There now it's not appropriate. That's why. As long as they've paid for you, they've taken. We're not saying they pay for women. No.
But I love the fact that you've used the analogy of the supermarket, because guess what? After he gets you from the shelf, gets to the till, and he can't pay for you, do you know they never take you back?
They leave you there.
They leave you there. It's someone. until it's out of stock. The other side, then someone comes.
If you have mercy, someone might find it and say, okay, let me take this.
Because me, I found things there. And then I remember, hey, by the way, I need a girl. That is you.
Oh, Lord.
That is you.
And to make matters worse, if you're like 38, 40 years old, you are like that Frank fruit that they've removed from the deep freezer. If you overstay there,
you're not fresh anymore.
Mama, dear 38-year-olds and 39-year-olds, don't listen to Angie and Pumla. Someone's coming to get you.
Right? Be patient.
Someone's coming to get you. Just be patient. Trust God because He knows the partner that you want. And you know, one of the things that you guys appreciate about this show is that we each bring something to the table and to the conversation. So if my advice has not worked for you, maybe Pumla's has, maybe Rosette's has, maybe Angie's has. We have prepared a spread for you. So come and pick what works for you. Yeah, what works for you. And to our anonymous DMR, we appreciate your message. I hope this has been helpful in some shape or form. I know we've laughed too much and joked a lot, but we spoke some sense. Yeah, so pick something and...
Pink Coconut is waiting to do your wedding.
There you go. Yeah. Pink Coconut is here for you. I just wanted to add that while we share these gems and ideas, relationships are very complex. And you might pick something from here and say, let me try and apply it. It may not fit just right. So understand your relationship, the dynamic, what you have with your man, or, you know, is it okay for me to go out and date, you know, see all these other men, or does your man value exclusivity even though he's not committing? Relationships are complex. So may the Lord go before you. May He give you wisdom. Because ultimately, whoever proposes or whoever you end up with, they have a really huge impact on who you become after the wedding. Yes. Yeah. So that's it from us. We are proudly hosted by Golden Tulip. They are perfect for fine dining right in the heart of Kampala. If it's a place that you want to bring out that potential suitor, please feel free to come do that right here at Golden Tulip. Until next time, with love from Pumla. Mwah.